So to start us off, we figured if we're going to do a panel on museums, then you've got to have someone who knows what museums are all about and can actually share some thoughts on those with you. So Honor is the curator and executive director of the ArtScience Museum. You know, that beautiful petal-shaped building that you will see next to Marina Bay Sands as you drive down the MCE. They are the purveyors of some wonderful exhibitions and also some really wonderful work, bridging not just East and West, but the traditional dichotomies between art and science. So Honor's going to share with us some of her thoughts on what a museum of the future might actually look like. So Honor, can I invite you to take the stage?
I just wanted to begin by thanking NTU, Aaron, the conveners of the conference, sincerely for inviting me to be with you today. It really is a privilege to be part of this conversation. So as Aaron shared, what I'm going to do today is address the question of the title of our session and explore what museums which are focused on the future might be like. At ArtScience Museum, we explore the intersection between art, science, culture, and technology. And we like to say it's in the place where these areas meet that the future is made. So we very much position ourselves as a place to reflect on how the future might be shaping up. And as a museum occupying that role, we go beyond objects. And this is most keenly felt in our permanent exhibition. So this is our permanent exhibition, Future World, where art meets science. And this is something of a paradox in that it's a permanent exhibition, yet it's changing. It's one not made with objects, but rather with digital technology. It's an exhibition of bits rather than atoms. When bits are your material, rather than atoms, you need to find artists who are masters of this domain. And so we chose to work with the art and technology collective TeamLab, who are based in Japan. Their extraordinary digital work has been presented around the world in festivals, galleries, and in the public realm. And as an institution, we were almost inevitably drawn to TeamLab's work. Their fluid combination of artistic expression, technological ingenuity, and scientific inquiry, and their insistence, their kind of motto that we are the future, rather marks them out as emblematic of our mission as a museum. Together with TeamLab, we set out to make something that was more than an exhibition in a traditional museum. We wanted to create a new world. A world that would change and transform over time, that would respond to each and every visitor, and that would draw people to visit again and again. And the result of that dream is Future World. It consists of 15 art installations and interactive projects for children that are organised into 4 themes. The opening section, Nature, includes 4 artworks that use both art and science to bring us inside nature. And the nature is comprised entirely of digital technology. In the first gallery, an ecosystem of flowers gently blooms and dies. This artwork is both generative in that the plants are created live, algorithmically, and responsive in that they respond to the presence of visitors and subtly change based on their behaviour. The installation depicts the 4 seasons in real time, so it might be the only place in Singapore where people can experience summer, winter, spring, and autumn. By physically positioning us inside the landscape, TeamLab are inviting us to understand that nature is something that includes, enfolds, and embraces people. There is no separation between ourselves and nature. In the second gallery is the artwork 100 Years Sea. Here, what TeamLab are doing is visualizing the rising sea levels caused by climate change. It's based on scientific data derived from the World Wildlife Foundation, which predicts the rising of the world's sea levels over a century. The 100-year period is compressed into 10 minutes in order for visitors to understand the full impact of climate change on our oceans should urgent action not be taken. In the town section of the exhibition, the mood changes and participants of all ages become players on the municipal stage. Immersed in the chaos of metropolitan life, visitors participate in the planning and governing of virtual cities. In Sketchtown, for instance, virtual towns are built and populated with drawings from visitors. Media Block Chairs presents the basic building blocks of the city. Connecting train blocks allows the audience to develop their own transportation infrastructure. And A Table Where Little People Lives is a miniature community which comes to life as visitors play with their inhabitants. In Park, we create an experience akin to visiting in a national park, where nature and leisure coincide. In Universe of Water Particles, a vast waterfall cascades down the wall, evoking the power of nature. We then invite our visitors to explore several different forms of recreation. It's a destination for having fun and playing, but also a place where we can reflect on the natural world and other people. In Sketch Aquarium, sea creatures drawn by children come to life. Visitors of all ages can create their own environments through touch, movement, and collaboration. Our journey through Future World ends by embarking outward and upward into astronomical space. In this section of the exhibition, we put viewers in the heart of the universe, enabling visitors to experience astrophysical phenomena such as planets, stars, and galaxies. We experience the universe from within. It surrounds us and responds to our presence, thus helping us understand ourselves as part of the vastness of celestial space. At ArtScience Museum, one of our core philosophies is that if we're going to begin to address the key systemic challenges the world faces, then we need both the understanding generated by science and the emotional connections made possible through art. To me, the power of a museum of the future is rooted in the profound emotional and philosophical impact it can have on audiences. When we consider some of the most urgent issues our societies face today, the capacity to create this kind of effect becomes very significant. Global inaction on the greatest threat we face, climate change, stems partly from our disconnection with our natural environment. The belief that we're somehow separate to and apart from nature has become an urgent existential issue. One of the most important roles of a museum of the future is to create meaningful connections between people and their environment. To address some of the challenges we face, we need to understand that we're within and not outside of the natural world. So Future World is our way of helping generate that understanding. It's a case study for what a museum of the future might look like, and perhaps an embodiment of Alan Kay's famous phrase, "The best way to predict the future is to invent it." Thank you.